because you'd be in jail. Are you going to fulfill that campaign promise that he made during the second debate? Because he did say he'd put her in jail. He said he asked the Attorney General to set a special project. That's what he said. It's a quote. I didn't make it up. What did he say? Are you going to keep that campaign promise?
I'll fulfill my responsibilities.
Are you going to keep the campaign promise? It's a yes or no. It's a promise that your boss, he hired you to fulfill. Are you going to fulfill?
We will comply with the law with regard to special prosecutor appointments.
Are you going to appoint one as he promised during the campaign? He's reminded you a couple of times in a few of his tweets that that's what he wants you to do.
I'll fulfill my duty as Attorney General.
Okay. So the brilliant campaign, remarkable campaign, big smile on your face. You love the campaign, but you're not going to fulfill his campaign promises. I hope you don't in this particular case.
Why? Why don't you want him to fulfill checking out a fucking criminal bitch? Maybe we'll get to you sometime too, Mr. fucking slick dick.
So I'm kind of happy with your answer up to now. So, as Mr. Attorney General, I'm going to ask you another series of questions. And I'd like to go back to the beginning of the hearing and get you to answer the following question. Are you aware that you are under oath and that your answers must be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Mr. Attorney?
Are you?
General?
I'm aware of that.
Okay, good. So I brought this little salt shaker here. And you forgive me if I just put a little bit of doubt into that answer. And just to remind myself that I might need this. And I ask unanimous consent that this article from Mother Jones Magazine be entered into the record with the headline, 3 times Jeff Sessions made false statements under oath to Congress.
Okay, so you're going to use a fucking fake news article as a real document. Is that what you're saying, you little fucking cockroach? You and Rubio should get along really well.
I ask this because I don't want to hear in a few days or in a few weeks that your answers, Mr. Attorney General, have changed based on newly uncovered evidence that what you told us before was in fact false, misleading, or something other than the truth.
Okay, so you're saying that what you know in 4th grade to be true and accurate, you can't change that story when you're in 9th grade? Is that what you're saying, you little Havana cockroach? That you're not supposed to learn, you're not supposed to understand new information, but you to remain in the same conundrum that you were in 4th grade when you've learned something new in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, or 9th grade? This guy is a fucking cockroach. If this is your senator, you need to rethink your reasons why you vote for him.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. I ask unanimous consent.
That objection be made a part of the record.
Thank you. Under oath, in the Senate, you said, as a surrogate, quote, a time or two for the Trump campaign, you did not have communication with Russians, but in March, it was revealed you did. Did you have campaign communications with the Russians? Because it appears you have had campaign communications with the Russians, Mr. Attorney General.
Did you? Have you? Let's look into your little closet, you little fucking cockroach. You're on the oversight committee. I'll bet you did. I'll bet you've had a lot of little interactions with other countries, especially Puerto Rico and all your little Havana rat roach motels, you little fucktard.
That is, I'd like to respond to that. I thought I had the paper right here. Surely I do. Here it is. Mr. Chairman, take a couple of minutes. I'd like to respond to that. Colleagues, I guess say former colleagues.
They left.
Senator Franken asked me this question. Okay, CNN has just published a story, and I'm telling you about a news story that's just been published. I'm not expecting you to know whether or not it's true, but CNN just published a story alleging that the intelligence community of the United States of America, the intelligence community provided documents to the president-elect last week that included information that, quote, Russian operatives claim to have compromising personal and financial information about Mr. Trump, close quote. These documents also allegedly say, quote, there was a continuing exchange of information during the campaign between Trump's surrogates and intermediaries for the Russian government, close quote. He goes on to say, now again, I'm telling you this is all coming out, so you know, but if it's true, it's obviously extremely serious, and if there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of this campaign, what will you do? I was taken aback by this. I'd never heard of this. This happened while I was testifying, I suppose. And I said, Senator Franken, I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate a time or two in the campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians. I'm unable to comment on it.
And you're not going to correct that today?
My answer was responsive to his charge about a continuing...
Do you want to correct it or clarify it today for us?
The time of the gentleman has expired. The Attorney General can answer the question, but then we're moving on.
So this is really important. I appreciate the opportunity to share it. So my focus was on responding to the concern that I, as a surrogate, was participating in a continuing series of meetings with intermediaries for the Russian government. And I certainly didn't mean I'd never met a Russian in the history of my life. So I didn't think it was responsive, and my response was, according to the way I heard the question, as honestly I could give it at the time.